It's a program of choice, Health Affairs and AIT, a platform where we focus on public health challenges, issues about women and children with a view to providing lasting solutions. I am your regular anchor, Shomowa, and you're welcome. Our focus today is on Marburg virus outbreak in Equatorial Guinea. Please don't go away, I'll be right back after the news segment. Road traffic accidents, according to a recent report by the World Health Organization, WHO, is the biggest killer of young people in Nigeria. Victims of road traffic accident face terrible consequences and avoidable fatalities due to poor post-crash care support and institutional weaknesses in the country. It is to change this narrative that the M. Kukoyi Foundation, MKF, and partnership with Health Emergency Initiative, HAI, was birthed to assist scores of critically injured road traffic accident victims access care within the first 24 hours. In 2022 alone, this collaboration, funded by MKF, assisted 39 crash victims with 82% survival rate. MKF Foundation is a US-based non-profit organization that intervenes in several humanitarian initiatives in Nigeria, including healthcare interventions, youth development, provision of amenities to underserved communities, amongst others. Driven by a passion for integrity and a desire to work with similar organizations of like minds, Health Emergency Initiative, HAI, a credible non-governmental organization that has supported and brought succor to more than 1,700 indigent and vulnerable patients and accident victims across Lagos State and beyond, readily comes to mind. HAI is also a recipient of Best Supporting NGO Awards from the Lagos State Health Service Commission and Federal Road Safety Corps. Satisfied with the outcome of the 2022 post-crash care intervention by the organization, the board of M. Kukoyi Foundation recently approved and disbursed more funds to support accident victims for the year 2023. This new project is expected to last for 3 months with a target to reach over 42 beneficiaries across Lagos State. In the words of Dr. Mobola Kukoyi, founder of M. Kukoyi Foundation, avoidable deaths from road crashes is becoming an existential threat to the young people in Nigeria. She called for more collaboration between HAI, public-spirited individuals, and corporate organizations to address this malady in view of its impeccable records in the last 7 years. In his response, the executive director of HAI, Mr. Pascal Achunine, thanked the board of MKF Foundation for their unrelenting support for the social well-being of Nigerians, adding that the existing Memorandum of Understanding HAI signed with the Federal Road Safety Corps, the National Orthopedic Hospital, Igbobi, Federal Medical Center, Ibutemeta, and selected hospitals in Lagos State has greatly enhanced prompt resuscitation and stabilization of crash victims when taken to these facilities. Pamela Iweze Kingdom Children Foundation will celebrate 5 years of transformation and impact in the lives of children through advocacy, health, and hygiene awareness this December in Lagos. To commemorate the anniversary celebrations, it plans to organize a fitness event in May this year tagged Walk for Diabetes in collaboration with key stakeholders, both local and international, in the diabetes ecosystem. The objective of the program is to use the universal symbol of sports and its ability to bring people together as a social vehicle for impact and mass awareness. The International Diabetes Federation, IDF, estimates that globally, more than 1.2 million young people under 20 years have type 1 diabetes, and approximately 184,100,000 new cases are diagnosed each year. In another study in 2021, there were about 8.4 million individuals worldwide with type 1 diabetes. Of these, 1.5 million, that is 18%, were younger than 20 years. Here in Nigeria, over 5.8% of the population are people living with diabetes. Sadly, diabetes awareness and screening programs are very few across most states in Nigeria, says Pamela Iweze, educationist and founder of the Pamela Iweze Kingdom Children Foundation. The foundation has been involved in advocacy and awareness projects centered around health and hygiene in local communities for over 5 years now. Pamela Iweze Kingdom Children Foundation have organized events and collaborated with local community development associations, CDAs, and the Nigerian Army via its Command Secondary School in Ojo Military Cantonment. In 2019, it organized a dental hygiene program on Children's Day to educate and enlighten the students on oral hygiene. Over 350 students attended and benefited from the lecture. In 2021, in conjunction with the Nigerian Army, it engaged over 700 secondary school girls from Command Secondary School in Ojo in a menstrual hygiene program tagged Path a Girl Child. The girls were enlightened on the importance of genital care and menstrual hygiene last year. In 2002, it teamed up with the CDAs in the Agbado Ekeodo local community development area in Lagos. This time, it organized a health outreach and awareness program to sensitize people on the chronic disease called diabetes and the steps to take in managing it. Millions of Nigerians are diabetic, but are yet to be diagnosed and treated.
Leprosy is really not getting as much attention as it should get, and that is because it is only affecting the poorest of the poor. I mean, you heard the leprosy affected person who spoke in this meeting, telling you even a toilet in his house he doesn't have. That is just the situation.
It comes with poverty. It comes with even the children not being able to integrate. They won't be able to go to school. And also for the affected people not to go to work, and all that and all that. The economic, economy of the families will be affected. And so we strongly believe that if leprosy is kicked out, it will contribute majorly towards our achieving the sustainable development goal.
Leprosy is a chronic disease that causes skin lesions and nerve damage. It is caused by the bacteria Mycobacterium leprae. This disease, which has been eradicated in most countries of the world, is still prevalent in Nigeria, impacting negatively on the workforce.
2021, I think we were able to get above 2,300 new cases of leprosy in Nigeria, and we felt that that's not good enough. So we want to pull it down, in fact, to end, leprosy. When you say ending leprosy, not just ending the disease, having a zero disease, having a zero discrimination, having a zero stigma, and having a zero disability. Because, most cases of leprosy come very late, and then they come with disability. Those with disability need to be reintegrated into the communities for them to fend for themselves.
With the 2023 focus to act now to end leprosy, speakers here at the symposium say awareness campaigns and upscaling government intervention are critical.
They are getting at it by what is been happening now, sensitization, not only of the vulnerable, but also of the entire public, the populace. Everybody should be aware. Because like I said when I was giving a speech here, this hotel we are checked in, you don't know who slept on it and out. So the best thing to do is, one, get everybody in Nigeria to be sensitized about the disease and that it is curable. And two, it is not just transferable by mere sitting together in a bus or doing something else. It's only the droplets that come from either the mouth or the nose that can be contagious.
They are doing enough, but the enough is not still enough. We think they can do better. Like I said, if the government can, just speed up the process of scaling up PEP, I think we'll go a long way in pushing for what we want to achieve. Sometimes policy can be a bottleneck. So we want to be able to ensure that every nook and cranny in this country is able to access what's already available.
It's not as a result of sin. It is a disease. And therefore, people should understand that if only they could come out, because a lot of people don't want anybody to know. And so by the time they hide it, by the time it only comes out when it's too evident, and it may have gone very far and damaged quite a lot of things. Of course, you know, it's peripheral, it's on the skin, around the nostril, and then of course the eyes. But if you leave it too long, it can really deform you. And then people begin to segregate, people begin to keep you apart from themselves. And I also hope that people would realize that those people who take care of them, they are family members. I think God should bless them because they had a heart of love. You know, for you to be bold enough, for you to be committed enough, and for you to love enough to be able to take care of somebody who has had or has the disease leprosy.
Though the treatment of leprosy is free, the stigmatization surrounding the disease has remained a major challenge.
Some people have misappropriated some funds that have been placed under their trust, and some people have manufactured some pharmaceutical products that have been found to be unwholesome. So, and whereas some persons have actually been presented to us who have breached trust with respect of their own vocation, so to speak, especially pharmaceutical representatives that have some pharmaceutical products under their care. I'm quite satisfied with what we have done today. I mean, the tribunal had sought, and we are satisfied with the judgment that we have passed, and we're sure that that will send a message to the generality of pharmacists, especially the younger ones, that that this is not going to be business as usual. The council is not a totally bulldog. Will actually attract the sanction, appropriate sanctions as laid down in the books for any infringement of the ethics and code of conduct of the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria. I will want to appeal to Nigerian pharmacists to look into their oath that they have taken during the induction and to ensure that they implement all the elements of the oath they have taken during induction ceremony to ensure that they practice ethically. Because anything short of ethical practice in pharmacy will attract the wrath of the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria. Sanctions range from fines to striking of the name of the pharmacist from the register of pharmacists for a number of years.
The hearing went on well because we had 10 cases before the tribunal. All these cases had earlier gone through the investigating panel. One pharmacist was reprimanded at the end of the day. The remaining cases were adjourned for definite trial. And the decision is to ensure that the tribunal reconvene in March, that is just in a few weeks from now, to ensure that definite pronouncements are made with respect to those cases.
In Lionism, service to humanity is a way of life, and January being a month for feeding the hungry, members of the Lagos Metropolitan Lions Club International decided to reach out to over 50 children with special needs at the Center for Destitute in the Dimo area of Alimosho, Lagos, Nigeria.
Today we have come to demonstrate love because we understand that kindness matters and we have come to serve. If you look closely, you will see bags of rice, you will see noodles. We choose this particular center for two good reasons. One, as you can see, you see that the location is hidden. Many people don't know that we have a center for destitute empowerment within this Oruzimbari area of Alimosho local government. So, secondly, they have a considerable number of destitute, which also means that there are well over 50 children here. And from what the management have told us, some of them are already graduates, some of them are in the university, some of them are in the secondary school, some are in the primary school, and they also have those who they also cater for by making provision for a nursery school to take care of them.
As you can see, We have so many children with special needs here. We have so many of them here, more than 50, and being run by a private organization and in a rented apartment. That is a lot of job. So we deem it fit that we should, extend our hands of gratitude to the proprietor of this place by, choosing this place for our Feeding the Hungry program.
The Lord has been with us. I started with my husband 2 years ago, January 60 person. May the ministry is still on, and the Lord Almighty is still carrying us. And may the Lord Almighty crown all your efforts with joy and glory.
Realizing that the children require more assistance from well-meaning Nigerians, President of the Lagos Metropolitan Lions Club, Kingsley Nwoke, and his team appealed to well-meaning Nigerians to care for the less privileged in the society.
So I'm going to 19 years now in this place. My experience is okay, we thank God, because God has been seeing me through from beginning to this moment. I want the government to help us in our building. That's our #1 challenge in this place, because this place is a rented place. It's not our own. So we are praying to God to help us to get a better place so that plenty children can still come in.
For us, we are fulfilled that we have served with joy, we have served with love, we have touched life, and that is the critical point. And we are all fulfilled. And we want to encourage Nigerians to also serve at this particular trying time, that this is the time to show love, to reach out to people, to provide food for the hungry, to ensure that the people with special needs, just like we are seeing, children with special needs are provided for.
We see you, we notice what you are doing, we see the lives you're touching, we see the lives you're impacting, and God will continue to help you. The world needs to see you, support you. You can't do it alone. And those who will give you help will come. So you can't do it alone. So we have also come to help you reach out to the community, reach out to the world. Tell the world that we are here, and the Lord will help us do it. We will go back, we'll look at you, assess your areas of interest, your needs, areas of needs. We'll look at them again, and we'll say we'll keep coming again and again and again.
Lagos Metropolitan Lions Club International, District 404B2 Nigeria, is a humanitarian service organization that focuses on vision, hunger relief, childhood cancer, diabetes, and loads more. With over 30 members on board, the club has impacted humanity in several ways since its inception a few years ago. Welcome back. Marburg is a hemorrhagic fever virus, often very fatal. It is caused by a filovirus, which normally lives in African monkeys. The record of some cases in neighboring Equatorial Guinea calls for more awareness campaign to prevent importation of the virus into Nigeria.
Marburg viral disease is another dreadful disease that we should not pray for. Like, it's very close to Ebola, really, just slightly less virulent. It's the viruses that cause Marburg disease, they are also in the same family, the same thing as Ebola virus, the filoviridia group of family. So the patterns of, including the hemorrhagic manifestation, I'm sure you understand what I mean by hemorrhagic, that eventually they manifest with people, bleeding from the nose and all the other parts of the body. So the way it comes is very contagious too. It's true, many people have thought about the fact that these fruit bats, they are like carriers. And then when people have whatever kind of interaction, whatever form of interaction that makes you to get in contact with either the fruit or wherever the bat has passed, and one is able to pick the viruses. So it's easy to pick through body fluid, any type of body fluid at all that is exchanged or through which somebody has contact. That is why it's the most susceptible people that are commonly affected are, family members that took care of the person that had it, or we the, healthcare providers. We are the people that are most times readily affected because we are the ones that we have contact. So it has to do with contact, and it takes a few days for one to, you know, pick and begin to manifest. It can start sometimes like the normal malaria fever or typhoid symptoms, where you have severe headache, feeling sick. That general feeling of being sick will be there. The headache will be very severe. The fever comes suddenly and then begin to rise, and then you begin to have body pains and all the other features. Can affect virtually any part of the system. But as it advances, the symptoms become worse and worse, and some of the systems might begin to shut down. And the hemorrhagic aspect also comes in. That's the situation whereby one could be bleeding from the eye or the nose or mouth or the private parts, you know, all those stuff. All the organs begin to shut down. So it's very, very, very. Well, it's another viral disease, and when you say is it treatable, yes, not everybody that we have Marburg with that. Though the fatality rate is as high as can be as low as 20% and as high as 90%. That test can be very bad. Where you have 100 people having Marburg disease, and you are saying in some instances you could lose as many as 90 of them. So it's very, very significant in terms of how serious, how aggressive it attacks the body. But the treatment we have is not really, we don't have the antiviral drugs that can really pin them down and stop whatever. But we give supportive treatment. If, for instance, somebody is vomiting too much after being infested with it, then you begin to think of how you balance the body fluid so that the person doesn't get too weak. When somebody is bleeding, you try to see how you can stop some of those bleeding processes in the body. Or where the headache is much, you want to also give some analgesics. So you take according to the way the person is presenting. You try to see how you can support the person. Of course, you put the person adequate hydration, because the person might become dehydrated and become very weak and might not be able to eat. Diarrhea, tummy pain, all those things, they come along with it, even vomiting. But so you take it according to the symptom. We call it supportive treatment. That's what you do. Unlike if you have malaria, you go for specific anti-malaria. Can be ACT, can be chloroquine, can be Fancida, all those stuff. We know specific drug we want to use. But in this particular case, because we don't really, even the vaccines are not, we still have them at the research level. So we don't really have even vaccines that are already made, that when there's Marburg epidemic somewhere, you go there and vaccinate people. We don't have that. So it's just supportive.
With the kind of border security we have, what's the message about?
With the kind of
porous border security.
Yes, our border is worrisomely porous. Anybody can stroll into the country and, you know, go back at it. It tells us that since this is a disease that can be, like anybody can be a victim of the Marburg. Yes, anybody. So we need to sit up, tighten our security, know how we monitor and watch people that are coming. You know, at a point in time, people that even came in, they were being isolated. This particular disease, if anybody has that disease, it is strict isolation. We must isolate, and everybody going there must be able to wear proper protective equipment. The gloves must be there, the overall and the gowns, the mask, everything, so that at the end of the interaction you don't pick anything that becomes that begin to manifest in one's body. So we need to be very, very sensitive, especially people coming from. Now we know that last year around July there was a case or one or two cases in Ghana, but it was quick. They were quickly isolated and the case was curtailed. As at yesterday, I know in Equatorial Guinea they had lost at least 5 of the victims, and all of them, I think they had a program together, either a burial ceremony from where they contacted the primary case, and from the primary case, at least 9 had died yesterday. I even watched on international line where they were being buried, and family members could not even come close. It is that bad. So it is time we sit up and monitor at all points of entry. This is not the time to say we turn the other way. If we monitor well, we'll be able to take care.
It's a viral infection, just like every other viral infection. And if you look at it, it's a communicable disease that can happen. But like globally and in the affairs of human institutions, every year, every time we have cases of viral outbreak that have been controlled and contained. So if there's a case or resurgence of Marburg virus disease, the best important thing to do is to do public health awareness enlighten the people. The world is a global village, and the viral infection is a contagious infection. Either you contact it through the fluid or thereabouts. If our borders are properly monitored with very good health surveillance, it can be prevented. But then, the world is a global village. So if we're having such case in Equatorial Guinea, the tendency of it coming to Nigeria, if proper care is not taken, is there. The public health issue. People need to be enlightened and educated on the need for public health issues. If we take adequate sanitation, without coming in contact with the fluid, either living or dead, the person cannot contact Marburg virus infection. So the most important thing is health care, cleanliness, which is next to godliness. But then if you look at it, we are still battling with a lot of things. The message we pass across to people is that there's no alternative to good health. Whatever you can do to maintain good health, do. Wash your hands properly, intermittently. Even if you cannot get the hand sanitizers, use detergent and soap. Wash your hands. Maintain some degree of cleanliness. You can at least go to some extent to prevent the spread. Now that is an endemic case, before it becomes an epidemic and we begin to talk about what we cannot control. So prevention is the best. It's very deadly, and just like, unlike other viral infections, there's no treatment for now that look at the treatment model. But as I said earlier, it can be prevented. And the best approach is to prevent it. Our healthcare practitioners at the borders, the public health workers should do a lot, and even the media, to educate people. I know money goes into it and a lot of things go into it, but people, the essence and the jingle and the message on public health should be intensified. People should be enlightened on the needs for proper health care.
When it comes to prevention and hygiene, I think a lot has been touted throughout the COVID period. It's the same thing we'll say over and over again. Make sure you maintain your hand hygiene, keep yourself clean, and also have a high level of suspicion. If you do happen to have any symptoms that you suspect might be related to this, present at the hospital and let them diagnose you properly rather than cause a scare or keep silent and spread it if you happen to. But there's been no reported case as at presently. All our hemorrhagic fever diseases, it can be quite deadly. But if we report early, treatment is given early, people should do well.
If you are just joining us, Health Affair on AIT, and next on the program is a nutrition segment.
They should feed their children with organic food, food that are naturally grown, food that are not processed, that are not canned food, that contains nutrients like minerals, vitamins, amino acids, basically fruits, vegetables, grains that helps the system. The food that one takes, it determines what goes on in the body. If you take natural food, organic food without chemicals, food that have not been preserved, that are not dead food, we're talking about living food now, it helps your body to stay out of cancer because your body is a living cells. If you are now putting preserved food, inorganic food into it, it's like putting dead food into a living body.
Follow us on our clinical segment for tips on healthy living.
Physical activity is defined as anything that makes you move your body and burn calories or energy. Physical activity strengthens the heart muscles to pump more blood, keeping the blood vessels flexible, ensuring good blood flow and normal blood pressure. It also helps remove toxins and waste from the body. Examples of physical activity include walking, climbing stairs, jogging, dancing, pounding, swimming, biking, and other sporting activities. Insufficient physical activity increases the risk of heart disease and other cardiovascular diseases. It also leads to accumulation of excess calorie or energy and eventual weight gain. Many people are physically inactive mainly due to ignorance. It is recommended to engage in some form of physical activity for at least 30 minutes daily for 5 to 7 days a week.
This is what you can take today. Please join us same time next week for another interesting edition of the program. Please don't forget to advertise your health product and services. We do it for you at a subsidized rate. I remain yours truly, Oshomowa Danes. Please keep staying safe.